This episode of Late Night with Ed Money is brought to you in part by Gubba Rum, where it's handcrafted artisanal rum in amazing flavors like vanilla and coconut in a striking hand-painted bottle. You can get this at your local spirit store or order direct from them. You just go to gubbarum.com or 617-964-6299. That's Gubba Rum, America's newest handcrafted rum. And Ziggy's Pub and Restaurant, located in downtown Amherst. And if you're local to them, dial for carryout at 440-985-FOOD. Or go to their website, which is ziggyspubandrestaurant.com. If it's a sporting event that you want to see, don't forget your sunglasses, because they have so many 4K TVs it'll burn your retinas. So go to Ziggy's Pub and Restaurant in downtown Amherst.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
I'll make it go away. Oh, my bad. You gotta start that over.
Of despair.
Warning, what you're about to hear is an adult show. You'll hear anecdotal stories and humorous situations meant for adults. In essence, kids, don't listen or try this at home. Everything you're about to hear is done by drunk, trained professionals. Now enjoy the show.
Deep within the pit of despair. Balls of Christ, dude.
Okay, and why, hello, my friends. You're listening to Late Night with Ed Money here on our website, which is edmoneylive.com, where it's real people have real conversations about life. You can reach us on a ton of sites. Just go to the main site. On the right-hand side, all the different ways you can hear us. You can put it on your media player. You can take it on your phone. You can listen in your car. Any way you want, just check it out. Check out all the links. Thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for the songs that you send, because I premiere a lot of that at the end. This one is Neone. It's Haunted House. Check that out, which I'll have a little photo and stuff at the end of the video on the YouTube. So like, share, subscribe, comment, anything. Tell a cat, dog, fish, a greyhound, anything that has the ability to go and click and like us. Check them out. So thank you. Always listen to myself, Ed Money. Right over here is CPAP Chuck.
What's up? Money.
I actually like that better, I think, than the other one. And the only person left here is right here below me is Ring is the Bionic Prepper, because everybody else has bailed on us for the evening. Gary Underglass is working. I guess he's in Cleveland doing some job.
Got a job?
A1 Wayne is studying for a test, because in 5th grade, that's they test you periodically, and Byron is never here. I'm not even sure he's still alive, for all I know. He grew hair and he's in a cult somewhere. He died.
He grew one little ponytail. That's like right on the top of his head.
I got a whole story on the hair thing too. There were so many things I wanted to ask, because I just did a crazy show that I wanted to explain to the audience and to you guys as well. But first, I want to ask this. Recently, I don't know if it's because I've been super tired or. Right. Okay, I love naps. First of all, I like naps, and it helps me. I know it sounds silly, but it helps me get through the day.
Dude, I daydream about naps while I'm working. I'm like, I cannot wait to go home and take a nap. I set my timer for 45 minutes. If I sleep, cool. If not, cool. I just get up when the timer goes off.
The reason I nap is because I take I take my blood my blood pressure medicine, and what happens is. It kicks in, and I take it first thing in the morning. When I get up, I'll have coffee, tea, whatever, and I take my blood pressure medicine in the morning.
You take blood pressure medicine with your coffee. I'm no doctor. But caffeine something doesn't sound pressure. Right.
I'm not saying I'm smart about it.
Why don't you go for a jog while you're doing all that?
Yeah, maybe do a rail of Coke.
Well, I do.
Cock.
I have to take it twice. I have to take it twice a day. All right, so. I take it in
suppositories.
Yes, the suppositories.
Blood pressure suppositories.
I take it, and so halfway through the day, it starts kicking in. You know, I mean, like
it takes that long?
Well, it's they.
Why do you buy the time-release blood pressure medication?
He's about to flatline. Hold on, in about 10 minutes, it should kick in.
It is. It's the weirdest thing. And my doctor, Chucky knows my doctor that prescribed it the way she did, is it lasts throughout the day, and then all of a sudden, I think it's when it like tells me, hey, you need to take your next pill. And what it does is it lowers my blood pressure. Yes. I mean, have you ever been so tired that like, you know, even to like move your arm, you're like, you got to like flip your arm because
you just flail it and hope for the best.
You're tired. I mean, really, when you're that tired,
you just feel the energy just dropping out.
That's my walk to the parking lot every day after work. I'm like, why did I park so far away?
Yes, it is. It's like
Chucky Ubers from the Ford plant door to his car.
My car.
Yes, it does.
Chucky, he's got one of those. What's that? The scooter when the guy with the cast on his leg, he scooters his one leg out the car.
Just sit on my broken leg. Okay.
It does. It when it kicks in, like the world slows, everything slows, and there's a certain time of the day that it kicks in, and so I have to fight. And it's not a joke. It's like 45 minutes, and then right after that 45 minutes, my heart
balance itself out.
My heartbeat goes back up to normal. And the way the doctor described it is, she says, I take you from 6th gear all the way down to 2nd. That's what the medicine does. And then it lets your heart rate come on back up, and then you're good. And then you take your next pill, and it does it again. You know what I mean? Like it does this crazy
So you got
thing.
an hour and a half of shit, basically.
Unless I work through it. Like if I'm working.
That's tough, though. Do like a Red Bull, maybe?
I do. I drink
coffee,
which is the opposite.
Some espresso beans.
Yes,
Ed doesn't have the money for energy drinks and Red Bulls.
It's totally.
He just relocates them.
I do.
Places.
See, the thing is, I do use a lot of energy. Soda. I'll drink soda, stuff like that at work, and it helps me power through that 45 minutes if I'm working. But at home, if I'm sitting here, I just, like a little kid with the head bobbing. Yeah,
You're fighting it.
I'm fighting it.
Are you pounding a 40 or 45 at the Palace Theater? Colt 45, a big 40, a Colt 45?
No, what I do is when I'm working, they do have, and I get a discount. So I'll get the energy drinks, or I get the, not that kind of discount. No, not like
discount?
No, they give me a discount, or I buy, or I'll just get a soda. Sodas are free. I can get they have Mountain Dew
Red
now.
Bull's a soda, technically.
No, they only buy, this is the funny part, is they have Bang. They'll get Bang that they sell, Bang energy drink.
Do they get Chernobyl from Hot Tub Time Machine?
No, they get Bang, and they'll get these other off-brand ones that they get from Cisco Food Service, a food service company.
Yeah.
But they'll order like one case just for me of Rockstar, because I like Rockstar. It's not, to me, it's not as sweet. So I get it discounted, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And they'll keep it aside for me just to buy because I like that better. And it's one serving, which is odd. Here's the thing that's odd too. Have you ever looked at these energy drinks? Some of them, which until you read it, some will say
4
like
servings in a can.
yes.
So you're only supposed to drink a quarter of the can? And
Yes,
throw the rest out?
Rangus
I think
isn't
not.
kidding. Yes.
I had one that was 400 milligrams of caffeine in a can. It was like 4 cups of coffee in a can.
See, I would have shit my pants. I would have like got to the last bottom of it and shit my pants. This is good. I'm energy. Oh, son of a
Now
bitch.
this one here.
He's not kidding. Yes, Rain.
This
Rain.
one
Rain
here,
likes
I
Rain.
drank this, and this is actually based on 1 serving per can, so they're not cheating you. But I'm trying to look. I'll have to find where the calories are.
And it's
10 calories, but where the caffeine is.
It's rare.
300 milligrams. That's 3 cups of coffee.
Right. It's the insane part about it that you don't normally drink. So what I'll do is I get this, they keep the Rockstar for me. And fortunately, the Rockstar says on the can 1 serving per can instead of, like Ringus, he's not kidding. They do say 4 servings. So you're
I
having
think they're making them
caffeine,
change
man.
it. I really think they're going to make them change that because
Yeah.
people don't understand. They
Yes.
look at this and go, this is a
I'll
serving.
drink the whole
Right.
thing. Right. That's the whole thing.
No.
So
But
what I'll do,
let's take it one step further. You don't buy a giant king size bag of chips and go 1 serving.
Speak for yourself, fucker.
Now,
Right.
before
Right.
it carries on, I'm switching from Rain to the Rock Zoa. ZOA, I think it's
I've never heard of
spelled.
that. I've never heard
Now
of that.
that only has, I think that's less than 200 milligrams
Okay.
of caffeine because I was drinking the other stuff and I was like, way too much. It's bad for your kidneys, which I only have 1 to begin with.
Right.
Be careful.
Yeah, I still have the other one if you ever want it back.
Thank you. I'll keep that as a backup. But
Does it
I
keep
gotta
you
cut
revved?
down.
Does it? Do you feel revved?
No, I got it in my sock drawer.
Not that.
It's like a Squishies toy. It's a stress ball.
It's a stress.
Oh, you could say stress ball.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, so what I do is I'll take that energy drink and I'll mix it with, like, say, 7-Up or even club soda, and I'll mix it together so that it dilutes and it's
You cut it.
and I cut it. I'm cutting, and I throw in ice in there too.
Ed's Breaking Bad, a Lorraine Palace Theater.
Right. So actually the can will be spread out over, like, say, 4 drinks worth of ice.
Oh, so
and
you're not doing it for your health. You're doing it to spread it out so you don't drink it all in one sitting.
yeah, I do. Yeah, it's the truth. Go ahead, Reagan.
It's
And
not breaking.
he's cheap.
I
No,
was
it's
just gonna
not-
say it's not Breaking Bad. It's Breaking Cheap.
No, and so I do. It's
Breaking Bank.
it powers me. It powers me through it. But this is the downfall: is if I don't time it right when I have these energy drinks in the combination of when I take my medicine. There's times that you crash from these, and have you ever seen people like to drink Red Bull, like Ringus just said, and then they they crash down? Go ahead.
Did you ever try a 5-hour energy?
No, I've been afraid of those because it's
Dude,
only
those things are
this
awesome.
big.
Yeah,
but
they're
it's
little.
this big.
Yeah, I don't know what's in them, but they
It's
work really well.
concentrated fuel.
They've
That's-
like doubled in price, dude. Have you seen them lately?
no, I
No,
don't have
because-
no.
I'll go to like Drug Mart and they have the bin of like the little brother of 5-hour energy. It's
Oh,
still
it's a
5-hour
2.5?
energy.
It's 2.5
5
hours.
hour energy, but it's this off brand and they're
It's
usually
the
like
metric
$1.
version.
Yeah, they're like $1. So I'm like, I'll try one.
It's 4 hours and 59 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, and you got to squeeze it. It's in a tube. It's real
Yeah,
thick.
it's like toothpaste. You usually put a pinch between your gum and your cheek.
It
Gotta-
comes. It's a
under the
pouch.
cap, Chucky.
Yeah, it's gonna.
You snort it.
Yeah, you do a bump off a little 5-hour energy spoon.
No, so these energies. So I got to watch it and I time it. But there's been times that I timed it wrong, and I start crashing from the energy drink, and my medicine kicks in, and I'm
So you
really
just like lay down and where you're at. You're like,
Ed's laying in the aisle.
we're calling 911 because he's they think he's crashed.
There's been times I'm at work and we've got a band in there and they're doing sound check and the music is loud as shit and I'm like,
Well, why do you, if you take your blood pressure meds in the morning, why don't you not start your energy drink until like 10 or 11? Then
I see where
start
you're
to
going
get you
with
over
this.
the hump.
I do, but it depends if I'm busy. You know, in other words, if we're working and I can't get to it, and go ahead, Ringus.
Ed's never busy, so let's cut that fucking lie out.
We're
right
just
there.
gonna stop right
It's at
there.
the palace.
Yes, I am.
I'm really busy sometimes sitting there and maybe playing on Facebook.
Ed's busy moving from the sound technician's booth to the stage, to the
Right,
shitter, and back to the bar.
And then he'll climb up to the catwalk and take a nap on the carpeted area.
There you go. I got to go up and adjust the weights, guys. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Wake me
So
up before you leave. I mean, call for me.
so I have to time it, and then, but I crash and burn. But I got recently, and I don't know if it's because again we're getting older. What's going on with my body? What's it look for?
Speak for yourself.
Okay, it's just weird. Things are happening. I told you, weird things are happening to my body being old. I don't know. It's just odd that I have recently, like it happened last night again, and it's reoccurring. I don't know if I'm so fatigued or whatever. I'll go to sleep, and there's times, can you tell, like when you have a really good, like you really get into a deep sleep?
Yeah, you wake up great.
No, it's that you wake up great.
No,
Yeah,
I can tell when I'm sleeping good or not.
No, do you mean where you're sleeping and you wake up and you go, fuck, I was asleep good?
Right.
kind of like
That drives
right.
me nuts.
Right. And then here's the worst part. You wake
Usually
up.
you got to pee.
Oh, that's the worst. That's why I said I go and I try and sleep and I don't turn the light on in the bathroom. I put my head on the sink so that
Well, you actually have to go upstairs. And
I
stuff.
know that's the worst. And I
Yeah, dude.
slither.
You might-
Does the
as well
hound
just
wake
not
up when
fight
you
it.
go upstairs?
What's that?
Does the hound wake up and bark when you go upstairs?
Oh, he hates when I have to go to the bathroom because he gets up like a dog. You know, he hears there's movement, and then I come up, and then he like looks at me like I was sleeping, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
He's like,
even
dude, listen.
I will bite your ass if you don't go fucking back.
He's
down
on.
those
He's got
steps.
Ed's phone and he's on Amazon, getting him a funnel and a long piece of hose.
He's got
the
the
other
sump
end
pump.
in the sump pump and pee into this funnel, Ed. Here's some zip ties to attach it to your nightstand.
and then I arc it from the
You
bed.
do. You like lay up on your side and arc it.
No.
Oh, and
So,
one rubber
what
sheet.
What time do you go to bed, Chucky?
When I'm working, I'm in bed at 9:00
Okay,
because
Same
I'm up
here.
at 3:30.
Yeah, same here. So, what pisses me off is I drink a lot of water now.
Oh,
So I
boy.
drink a
There's
lot of
times
water.
when I go to bed at 9, I piss at 11:30. Then I'm like, motherfuck, that pisses. You know, if I go from 9:30 to 4, I call it a good fucking night. But most of the time, it's either 11:30 or 2.
Really?
I got to get up and fucking piss. And there's
Not
at least once a week. If I piss at 11:30, I got to piss at 4. Then I'm
Knock
like,
on
well, now I'm
wood, I
fucking
could go
up.
through the whole night. I think it's
Oh.
because I work in a factory and I can't get off my job
Right,
until
right.
someone lets me get off my
You're
job.
trained.
Yeah, but
I
then
got
you're
treats
not.
for it and everything.
See, Rangus, you're not really getting a good night's sleep because you're going just deep enough and then getting up, just deep enough getting up. It's not a
Says
good
our
night's
resident
sleep.
sleep expert, Ed.
CPAP, Ed.
Right. No, so I've been having this habit where I don't know if it's fatigue or a lot of my mind stress, whatever. I go out, you know, and I'm happy to sleep a whole night through, not having to go to the bathroom, whatever. So I'm happy about that. At least I'm happy my body wakes me up to go to the bathroom. Put
Right.
it that way. So I go, because you don't have those pee dreams. You know what I mean?
Where you dream you're peeing and you're really peeing.
Ed's got a pee pad under him.
Yeah. But it's like 3 weeks old. It's like this thick now. It
got a
started
butt
out like
divot.
this.
It's like a
But there's so much
Twinkie.
pee in it and it just keeps growing.
It's like a mattress topper now.
He wears a pad in his underwear just in case.
Peenie pad. Yeah, no, so
And a condom.
and it's in the condom.
He makes just a giant
So-
pee balloon.
so it's all,
Pee bomb.
It's all swollen. It's
He's got a
like-
hose clamp holding onto his cock.
It's like a trucker bomb.
And a condom.
And the
He
weird
gets the
thing,
lubricated ones.
the weird thing is periodically there's a turd in there, and I don't know how it happened.
How did that happen?
Ed has to buy the magnums because he pees so much.
Yeah, we know it ain't for the other reason.
It's hanging out my pant leg. It's all,
It looks like a fire hose, like Beetlejuice's arms.
it's all juicy. And it's got the little holes periodically from dragging on the gravel.
Those seeper hoses.
Yeah, soaker hoses.
Yes, no. And then what happened is that I've been going into this deep sleep. You know what I mean? Like you really like deep sleep. And when I wake up, this is what I was going to ask you guys. Have you ever woken up and you're fucking so disoriented, you don't know, like, do I work today? What day is it? And then you have to wonder.
I've actually dreamt it was Saturday and I woke up and I'm like, fuck, it's Tuesday.
See that I'm waking up and I'm disoriented. Like I'm not sure where I'm at, or
You sure you're not roofied?
I may be. You know what I mean? And I just,
He's doing it to himself.
And I wonder, is it the energy drink making me crash so hard that I go into like a?
I think it's a combination of both because you're working 12 to 14 hours on some of these shows.
Yes,
it would take me 3 days to get caught up on sleep.
Right
after that, you know.
Dude,
when you have your shows for the weekend, your Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are, you got 30 plus hours in them 3 fucking days.
That's not well.
Yeah,
no,
it
it's
only happens
less.
like once a year. So
no, it just happened. This is what I was going to talk about.
That was your one time.
No,
Getting laid.
That hasn't happened yet.
We did this. We did this show. I did we had the Fifth Dimension that were there, and that was I had to be at work. What
do they sing?
Could you see them?
Wait, what do you mean? Can I see the? Yeah, they're in a different dimension.
Can you see the Fifth Dimension?
Yeah, it was two. It was two. It was the Letterman opened up for the Fifth Dimension, and they got into a fight on stage.
Like a fist fight?
Well, they were calling each other names.
The same band member or the Fifth Dimension and Letterman?
Wait, the Fifth Dimension and the Letterman got into those guys all got to be in their like late 70s.
The lead singer of the Fifth Dimension is 80. She announced she had just celebrated her 80th birthday. And the other guy was upset because they were trying to record the Letterman when they're on stage, and the other band was just trying to videotape it because they're there with the Letterman, and then they started on stage yelling.
That's pretty professional.
I was like, "What am I?" And I'm on the spotlight.
The broken hips.
Right?
How'd you hear him on the spotlight?
I didn't. The guy because I'm on the spot. The guy that's my fill-in because I'm not doing the show things down there is that he's down there and he's like, dude, they're yelling at each other. What am I supposed to do? Is
that Crazy Eyes?
Yeah. Well, it's Crazy Eyes' nephew. That's what's even better. Did a whole story on that too.
Crazy Eyes Jr.
So
Crazy
so many stories. So what happened was Techman Isaac's like, just let it happen. What are you gonna do? Don't interrupt the flow.
You got cops there,
right? No, yeah. What are they gonna do? They're gonna shove them? Leave them.
Tase them.
That'd be great.
So we did. I had to be there at 9 a.m.
Dead skin and ozone in the air. A toupee here,
careful,
there, floating around.
The spark of the taser might ignite the oxygen hose.
They were all.
It'll fuse their wooden or their metal hip.
Their pacemaker goes off.
Not a joke. They were upset because the primaries, which was a Fifth Dimension, because they were the headliner, were upset because the bathrooms were downstairs and you had to go downstairs to go to the restroom. And the other band, the Lettermans, were upset because they had to climb upstairs to go to their dressing rooms.
It's not like it's 70 flights of stairs.
But they're in their late 70s, early 80s.
Then they could change.
So you should have got a porta-john to put on the side of the stage.
They should have got the hose.
What's the bucket with the toilet seat on it? The bumper dumper?
The bumper dumper.
Get a couple of those, put them behind the curtain and get them a coat rack. It's good enough for them. And they could use the flashlight on their phones that only dial 3 numbers. Those safety phones?
Jitterbug phone. So I was like, well, son of a bitch, so I had to be there at 9 a.m. So that means I got up, by 7:30 so that I could be ready to get there 9 for load in. And then we worked the whole day. The show happened. Then we load out. They were gone, and we were getting them out the door at like the main group left, but the loadout people at like 12:30 at night. Then the damn time change happened, so it became 1:30. You know what I mean?
So and you lost an hour.
So I immediately lost an hour, and then I went home, shit showered, shaved, and got ready to go to bed. It's now 2:00, and we had to be back by 8:00 in the morning for the loadout for the Sunday show, which means I had to get up by 6:30, 4 hours later, less than 4 hours later.
Did you take extra heart blood pressure pills? You know, to get you
sleep
through
at the theater.
Yeah, you should have just slept at the theater.
This is what I thought.
Were you too scared?
Well, no, we were thinking about it. We actually thought about it, about staying, because we have futons there now. But I have this fear of all the people that have been going on the futons. That you're right, Chuck. Right.
Ooh, there might be love stains.
No, jitterbugs.
I don't.
A lot of broken diapers.
I could put down towels, I guess, and lay on that.
Still crunchy.
Isn't there an area above the back of the theater, like a balcony?
There's a little room.
There's a little room up there. I can always go up there.
Haunted.
Why don't you put a bed up there with a mattress, and you could crash up there?
Well, we're thinking about converting one of our offices into a place where we can do that and just crash when
you
we
get
have
a mini
these crazy
fridge and a Keurig, like my bedroom.
right.
The theater can provide the fridge and the Keurig. I mean, what the fuck?
Right. Yeah. We already have.
You're under $200.
We have all that there. Plus, we have showers at the facility, so I could do everything there. Anyway, so I had to come back.
And toilet paper as far as the eye can see.
Now, wait a minute. Do the showers use the same hot water dispensers as the fucking bathrooms that you haven't fixed yet?
No, they don't. They actually have a hot water tank.
You still got broken bathrooms?
No.
The male and the female, the Insta-Hots that fed the sinks both exploded and blew up, and they won't replace them because they're $700.
Right.
Okay. A piece or together?
No, a piece. $700 for the men.
Yes.
They have one Insta-Hot.
So all the water's cold?
Sinks. All the water's fucking cold.
It's ice
bitter fucking cold. It almost forms an ice cube.
It is
big icicle coming out of the
He's not kidding. When you turn on, dude, you can like see your breath with your breathing close to the water. That's how cold it is.
You put your hands under it, your balls shrivel up.
It's cold.
It moves that fast through you.
Yes. So anyway, we got there for the load in, and this is the thing that I wanted to talk about because I got to do this show. That Chucky, you got to I'm gonna pronounce it wrong.
Cirque du Soleil.
That's it. How did you say? Do you say circus?
Cirque.
Like Cirque without the us.
Okay, Cirque.
CIRC.
I got that. Cirque.
DE.
De Soleil.
Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil. Whew, that's a tongue twister.
du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil. Okay, and that's what was there, but it was
something like that.
It was the light version of it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was their tribute band of Cirque.
It wasn't the full show, but it was all the good stuff.
Well, let's be realistic. You can't have a Cirque du Soleil show without a stage made for the fucking show. I mean,
right.
Harnesses and all that shit.
Right.
They did what they could with what they had.
They had 2 mattresses and a trampoline.
Wait, that's where Ed was supposed to sleep.
And 4 pool noodles.
And 1 clothesline. Steady. Easy.
And it was that clothesline, Chucky, from our era that was rubber coated.
Right.
Rubber coated
Oh, God. Yeah. No, so they loaded, and it was cool because we didn't have a ton of load in, and they couldn't do certain crazy, I guess they do these slingshotty acrobatic things in the air and stuff, and they couldn't do it because we didn't have the rigging. They couldn't set it up quick enough. You know what I mean?
Didn't you do the fucking haul the chick up in the fucking
Yes, yeah. We did Peter Pan, and we're going to be doing.
They're smaller.
See, that's the thing. We had a week tech ahead of time to set it all up, and we still had our pick lines in the walls and all this other stuff still set there. But this it would take 2. They were there, and the show is the same day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I was like, okay, cool. So, I got Wayne. Can you hit him, Chuck, while I'm telling this story?
Yeah,
to see
go
if
ahead.
see if he's available. I can get him on for this. So, or wait, should I just check here for the audience? I'm going to just check to see if A1 Wayne is on, and he is. I'm going to invite him right back into the conversation right now. See if he comes in. So there's a break. Sorry, if you're listening and you're not watching the YouTube video,
Ed
there's
can't
a little
multitask.
a little break, and we'll see what he's doing. I see Chucky. In fact, I'm going to pause it. I'll pause it real quick. Okay, and it's for the audience. We just
It's like we never left.
It's like we never left. We paused for a second, brought in A1 Wayne, who was on a study break, and he's back. So go to the YouTube video and you'll see him come back in. But this is Wayne. What I was talking about is I did this a show where I just started talking about. It's called Cirque du Soleil. Okay,
Yeah.
Right. Okay, you're familiar with it.
Sure, I think I've seen it or portions of it because they highlight different.
Not Cirque du Soleil
shows.
Light.
We were the Cirque du Soleil Light. In other words, they didn't have all the, and it wasn't
Right.
the actual one. It was like a tribute
Right.
one of it.
And that's what I've seen. Like, the tribute is
Yeah,
not even the real
They're
people.
basically the up and comers that want to get picked up by Cirque
Yeah.
du Soleil.
Yeah, no, and here, look,
Is it like the Blue Man Group? But they were like,
They're
like
green-
light
they're greenish
blue,
yellow.
they were teal.
Greenish yellow group,
Columbia blue.
turquoise man group.
Yeah,
the
okay, I
robin,
gotcha, okay.
the robin's egg blue. Yeah, no, see and I told them I was going to talk about them, so that hopefully they'll be listening to this show at this time. So it's good. So if you guys are listening, it was great to meet you. They're fantastic. This is I'm going to talk this whole thing. This is crazy. So they come in, and I had never. I mean, I've seen it when we were in Vegas. All right, because they had like 4 different versions. I want to
Yeah,
say.
there's like Mystere, Love.
Yeah,
and
one
I
was
can't remember the
water,
fourth
one was like fire, different.
It's just fucked up. You know that many.
I didn't get it all, but it was really cool. They had the balloon. But anyway, this this was like a combination of it all. All right, but tiny version of it because it was at our place, and they didn't do this. Like I said, they wanted to do the slingshotty stuff they couldn't do with us, but. This is where and they're young. The audience didn't understand this either. They were in their early 20s, at the latest maybe 29. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Was the ages of all these people, and some of them were tiny, like the little Asian. There was an Asian girl, hot, beautiful little Asian girl.
Aren't all the
hot.
girls tiny, but the guys are like built like
Yes, that's a weird
shit
thing.
houses, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a weird thing. And I get.
Well, they're lifting people up with like one arm. They're
Yeah.
I got this
And then
crazy.
making 'em flip.
Yes, yeah, I get this crazy story. So they come in and they're they're not overly communicative. They don't talk much except for like it
They're
was funny.
focused, man.
They were all young, except for this one old guy comes in and he's like the manager. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
And then they have a floor tech, a guy the stage tech that does the rigging and everything else. And this dude was high as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Or you
high-
thought he was.
And
You
I
have
thought
no
he did.
proof.
I have no proof, but I'm just because listen. So they come in, they drive, they drove. This isn't a joke. Like Isaac said they're coming in a bus. So I thought, okay, they're coming in like normally when we get these big acts, they come in a giant 53-foot long RV that they're all in. You know what I mean? And then
So
they have
they
pulling
all
up-
came in a V-Bug.
they showed up.
That's their car.
They
just
showed
rolling
up in like the shuttle bus from the airport where you can
like a 15 passenger Econoline.
where you
Yeah.
with one big side window when they're all sitting like this looking over at me, and I was like, because we rolled up the door and I'm like, they're in a shuttle bus, you know?
Maybe they got shuttled from the airport.
Yeah.
Park and ride. Park and
Wearing
fly.
helmets.
Wearing helmets.
Right. And so they get out and come to find out, which I didn't realize, they were, when I mean multinational, they were from everywhere from Australia all to.
So it was a big international melting pot.
international, melting pot of these acrobat people. These, I don't even know what to call them other than acrobatic people.
Artists? Just call them artists.
Yeah, artists. They come in. We had to unload all this stuff, this props and everything.
Them? Because there couldn't be much room for anything else.
No, they
were all wrapped in like 20-foot long sheets, and they just spun in.
Just keep them fresh.
They traversed out of the van.
No, they were towing behind the airport shuttle bus a trailer that had all this stuff in it. All right, and when I mean it was wedged in there, they had wedged.
I'm sure, like Tetris.
Oh, it was Tetris wedged in there, and I'm like, well, normally we try and get an idea how it comes out, so that when we're done at the end of the night, how it goes back in, or they're supposed to know this. Well, I asked the dude, I go, what comes out first? And the
people,
the one guy, the floor tech goes, dude, just grab it and pull. So I'm like, is this? I go, I think he's high, man. And I was just like, no, just because it was wedged in there. He didn't know. I don't think he knew. So we pull all this stuff out and we go bring it all in and start setting it up.
It worked, didn't it?
It worked. We got it all out.
There you go.
Got all this cabling, and they start rigging up this cabling.
Now, are all the artists putting it together, or is it just like a select?
No, this is where it gets crazy because I had never done this type of show, so it was new to me, and I'm like, what are we supposed to do? And the dude said, nothing, man. They each do their own thing. And he says, help with the rigging. And I go, okay, I'll help with the rigging. So I look on over, and they had one guy putting together all their own, maybe for safety, they know once they put together their stuff.
Yeah.
One dude had this giant hula hoop ring, all right? That he held on and like.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Oh, yeah.
They do like a
It looks like a dropped quarter or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you've seen. Okay, now have any of you guys seen this show?
Yes.
Before?
We all have.
Like,
we all have.
I never saw it. Okay,
Ed, we all have.
So there was the one guy doing that. They had these two now.
Ed, were you like, I'm sorry, but I had to.
That's right. No, good.
See you like you were excited. Like, I've never seen it. Have you ever seen the video of the guy recording the rainbow? And he's the double rainbow.
Double rainbow. What does it mean?
Yeah, that's Ed on the side. He's like, oh my God.
A giant hula hoop.
Look at that guy.
Who does a hula hoop that big?
The girl's spinning as she comes down in
the stairs.
Look at her.
Right. No, this is right. So you're not too far off.
He did a cartwheel in the hula hoop.
No, they bring out this air compressor, and then they had these. Now they were Asian, but one must have been Japanese or Korean, and the other was Chinese because they didn't speak. Chinese to each other. They were speaking English, broken English.
Labor disputes.
So they were talking English, which made me think,
one spoke
correct
one language and the other.
But this is the thing. He had this. Isaac called it a crash pad. I think he called it a crash pad. They had this mat that they filled with air, and it was the oddest thing. I've seen like floor mats.
Did you want to take a nap on it? My blood pressure medicine's finally affected me.
No. So they had this air, but as soon as you went on it, it went like, boom, you know what I mean? Like it was super bouncy, like an air match.
A bounce house.
Like a bouncy house, yes. It was super, which I didn't know. I'm like, well, what the hell are they going to use this giant?
Did you go buy one off of eBay?
Did you understand?
I need one for home.
It's on the mattress right now. No.
Did you understand the premise of the show when they said, like, what's that for?
Well, I wasn't sure because we were doing the light version of it. You know what I mean? On what we were doing, and we hooked up this. This is where it goes crazy. And then now the way we do it for the audience who doesn't know that they have this we have these long tracks up above on our rigging, and then they connect to it that they're going to pull a harness to secure to the person that's going to be on it, that's going to be flying,
like the
or
ones
whatever.
they have at the rock climbing places where there's like a pulley and a rope.
Exactly. And what happens is, because we're a theater, you have to harness it in different directions on each end so it doesn't sway back and forth. You know what I mean?
See where you're going.
Doesn't rack around. And so the guy goes, dude, what do we secure to? Now, we did Peter Pan's, and you can fly Peter Pan, and we still have the eyelet still in the wall, but it was so high up, we don't have a lift at this time to re-secure these guys to it. So they just like...
You had the jumpy pad?
They were securing... They were going to secure... Rangus knows we have a giant electrical box in the back of our building where all the power comes in. They wanted to secure to that. I go, no, that's like 8 billion volts of electricity coming through. You're not harnessing
Boy, what a
it.
show that would have been.
Be like a mosquito on a zapper light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is where...
Yeah.
So there's anything. They had one kid holding weights, and they just had him secured to the, all over secured. And then this was where we go up in the rigging where I'm usually at, and the guy that I said was just kind of out there. He secures with these ratchets, a ratchet strap. He's like, and he ratchets it down, and he goes, I go, dude, is this gonna hold him? And I swear to you, he goes, that'll work. What?
Good enough.
What? Good enough? And then they had this.
Dude, it's good if you ratchety the ratchet strips, you're golden.
If you give a good tug.
Yep.
But I'm looking at it going, this is, we got humans in the air. They went all the way up. So it was like 32 feet. So this is the thing where it starts getting crazy because it was so cool. It was show this crazy wire system with pulleys went down one side, down by my rigging, and then behind the curtain. And they, when the first act came out, the first girl who was cute as any, and I gave her a nickname. This is the thing, because I couldn't remember. They had so many people, and they had, and that's going to sound horrible, but they had
Wait, how many people did they have stuffed in the van?
Oh, dude, it was been 15,
Just pool,
20.
they'll come out.
15 or 20 of them that did this show. It was amazing. And they had very, it was hard to remember mnemonic device names. Like one was named Ping, was the Asian guy, and there was a couple.
Okay.
There was but there were so many different
You gave them all
nationalities.
nicknames yourself.
So I gave them nicknames because of I'm
sure they appreciated that.
Well, wait, go ahead, go ahead.
Did you ever see The Office where you put an X on the one girl's hand so you could tell them apart? And they at first, they were shocked that I was just giving them names because I couldn't, again, like Chuck
Did they
might
think
be.
you were being insulting as opposed to...
No, and I was cool. I mean, I explained it to him. I said, look, maybe Chuck in America, in English, that's a common name. Chuck, John Smith, that kind of is common to us. Maybe their name is common to them, but yet they may try and say Chuck, and it's difficult for them to remember. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You know what they'll say, too.
Huang.
Jim.
Wang 1 and Wang 2.
Yeah.
So, well, there was the one guy, like I'll explain this. I had to give this guy this name, and he comes over and he had this he was what's it called where you can be contortionist? Is that
Where
the
you
right
can
thing?
bend all up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy.
Like you could bend around so your wiener is like touching the tip of your nose.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I'd never leave the house.
Well, you're obviously not that flexible then.
Right now.
Chuck would just have to go like this.
There's a reason I work in a factory.
From
Wayne.
what I heard.
Yeah, those are false rumors. Maybe in my younger days.
He just has to slouch.
There it is.
Chuck's developing scoliosis just because of it.
Sit on my back. I'm almost there.
You're laying down with your
I'll be right
feet in the air like this with your.
I start taking yoga. I finally get there. You see me? I quit.
That's funny. That's funny. No, so the one guy, this was a crazy part. This will be he was like the second or third, but he was a contortionist kind of guy. And
he had this board. He was the same guy that Wayne said looked like a quarter, a drop quarter. He did that act, and he did this thing where it was a platform on the ground with a rod coming up and a block on the top. And he
I've seen those, yeah.
He would put his hands on there, and then he did like a handstand. Yeah. And he did this
the blocks aren't attached.
No, well, 3 of them were. One was. Well, wait, 3 were positioned, locked in. One was loose, so it would spin.
Swivel, yeah.
Swivel, and I was like, this dude. This tiny. I mean, he was smaller than me, and I'm only 5'9", 5'10". He was tiny, but just built. You know what I mean? Like he was. Yeah. Excuse me, like a gymnast.
So he just basically made us look like fat old turds.
Yes. This guy got on these blocks and just like, alley-oop. You know what I mean? Like his body went up. He did this one where his legs were in one direction and he had his hand in between his crotch. You know what I mean? Like his leg was going out. And he was holding himself on one hand.
Holding! Holding! That's just a lot of sheer strength, man. Physics that I know nothing about.
This was the crazy part, and you had to see it, and what it is also what's nice, like the dance shows and stuff like that. People in the wings that the audience doesn't see, we clap to let the audience know when to clap, if that makes any sense, because they don't want.
Did they give you cues?
Well, they were next to us, and then they would start clapping. In the theater, you learn. On the sides, you let the audience know, because all the time people be watching a show like this and they don't realize applaud because that's something amazing. Like when a dancer does some crazy dance move and she lands and then goes, she's expecting an applause and nothing happens till then all of a sudden, it was fantastic. Well, this guy was doing these kind of crazy maneuvers, and this was the first part that was unbelievable. Is this guy on this box thing, whatever he was on.
Yeah.
He's in a handstand. This guy is in a. First of all, for any of us to do
my shoulder would fall out of socket. I'd probably fall on my hip and break it. And I'm sure I'd hit my head somewhere.
Going up to the stage, Chucky. I would have tripped going up to the stage.
Now, Rengus, do you think you could ever just do a handstand alone?
No.
I can tell you from experience, I cannot. I almost broke my neck trying one.
So the best I've done at the gym is walk towards the wall, throw my hands down, flip my feet up so my feet hit the wall above my head.
That didn't work out real well for me.
I can't like do a tripod then pick my feet up above my head. Never been able to do that in gym either.
See, it's not
coordinated.
I can do what's called the frog stance, where you're
knees on your elbows.
Knees on the elbows. I can frog. I can bend all the way down.
That's a sex move.
No, it's not a sex.
Well, it's a solo sex move. That's why he's perfected it.
The hell is that?
I'm hearing a buzz.
Oh.
Did your air conditioner kick on?
No, I bumped something.
Pad.
There it is.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to.
That's right. I'm explaining this first guy's maneuver that was doing these for the audience. Wayne took off for a second. This dude did this. He had this box thing with these little blocks, and he was on the blocks. And this is the thing he did. First of all, he started off. He went on these blocks. Now, mind you, he's just balancing on 2 blocks, which are on rods.
2 softballs, basically.
2 softballs, and he went into a handstand. Now, Wayne. I can do the frog, which these guys knew. The frog. He reigns in prison.
Naked.
I can do the frog stance, and I'll go down and I can touch my nose on the ground and come back up. And if I'm on a
right now to this day, you could do it.
Yeah, I can still do it because from when I was in martial arts and stuff, I can still balance myself. Now it's not that I can do it well.
Do you do it naked and there's a guy behind you with his finger out waiting for you to come back up? And go.
He did martial arts. It was a summer rec program where they did like shrinky dinks and finger painting.
And they made those snowmen out of cotton balls.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was
so
part
Christmas
2.
Had.
And that was the advanced.
On a
Look what I can do.
Right. On a super rare day, I can be in the frog stance and go into a handstand. Look at Chuck.
I'm going to take the under on that.
On a super rare day, I can do it. It's been a while, but I used to be able to put it that way. I could easily
You
go.
know what? Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, before the show, we talked about all getting back together in the same studio.
Yeah.
Because Ed's buying this switcher box we need, whatever. When we all go there, he's doing it in front of us.
I'll
you better
record
wear
it.
a helmet and some elbow pads.
I'll do it. Record it. And then so
will we.
So anyways, I did this or not me, but this guy was in a handstand. This is the craziest thing I'd ever seen. In a handstand on these blocks in the whole scenario, then positioned his body and went into one hand handstand. Sitting there and he was moving his hand back and forth like he was doing thing, and then he did a push-up while he's in a handstand on one freaking hand.
See, I would have been impaled on one of those poles.
And I was just like, dude, this is Luke Skywalker floating over here. I'm waiting for boxes to start floating in the room.
And an X-wing to fly out of the wings.
Yes.
Out of the bog in the back. Out of that poop cutter.
Right. I was like, I mean, first of all, the power that to think, and I asked this guy later on during the intermission, I'm like, dude, how often do you train? He says, I train 3 to 5 hours a day, every day of just doing, and he was, flexible. He could do the split. There's no way. The only thing that bothered me was he was wearing pants with the perfect cutout
Staring
like
at
this. Yes, a perfect cutout like this that had Big Jim and the twins in. You know what I mean?
Like a ball hammock.
Yes, and it almost drew your eyes to it. You know what I mean?
Of course, it drew your eyes to it, Ed.
No, didn't say my eyes.
Luke Skywalker, can I see your lightsaber?
It's like, that's mouth-watering.
And then they had this one girl. She was from Australia, all right?
Okay.
And she had this.
So she already gets points for her cool accent.
Oh my God. This accent was, first of all, just when you hear her talk, it just caught you. Now, this is the truth, and it's crazy. She comes up, tiny little girl, but she had this like swimmer's build where she was square on the shoulders, very muscular. And she had a shaved head except for a mohawk that was blue, like this.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Deep blue. So
Still in.
right. Oh, and dude, when she first came over in her outfit, because when she first came in, she had on like a hoodie.
What? Wayne.
she had a, what do they call a septus ring or a septum ring?
Septum
ring?
Septum, yeah.
Septus is a
Septum.
disease,
Damn near kill him.
infection.
Right. She had one of those. She had,
Septum
piercings,
piercing, yeah.
little triangle thing, crazy look like Mad Max. So when she started talking, and then she came out in her outfit, and I'm not joking. When this girl stood next to me and I looked at her, it was like I could hear the thunder and the lightning, and she was just that beautiful. She was beautiful. You know what I mean? And then she spoke and had that damn Australian accent, which has made it even worse, but not in a good way, because it literally hypnotized me. I'm like, this is one of the first, really beautiful women. So then she did her act where she went up, and it was like Wayne said, she went up, she's in this, this long towel thing, and was spinning and twisting and hanging herself by this, just a rope by herself. I was amazed. And she comes down, she goes walking past me, and I said, "Hey, Thunderdome, that was, pretty badass." And she just stopped. And there was the guy that was all baked was standing next to him, and she grabbed him, and then she turned and looked at me, and she goes, this is going to be a horrible Australian accent.
All your accents sound the same, so just go.
Hello.
I don't know what accent it is, but it's your accent. No matter what you do, it sounds janky.
I'm not good at it. I'm so sorry. She goes, "What'd you call me, mate?" And I go Thunderdome, because I'm thinking Mad Max.
Yeah.
We don't need another hero kind of thing. And I said, I go Mad Max, Thunderdome, we don't need another hero. And I said, Australia. And she turns and looks at a guy and goes, "What do they call me?" And he goes, the thunder from down under is what she said. The thunder from down under, but I like that better. So I'm like, sounds more Cockney, doesn't it? That accent just sounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, just go with it. She'll
believe
understand.
it.
If she hears you, she'll understand.
Yeah, she'll be like, "Oh, and you call me the thunder from down under." No, that's the wrong accent too. That's like I'm losing my accents. I'm moving.
What planet are you on right now?
So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then this is where I did something stupid. So then
you did something stupid?
Oh yeah. It wasn't gassy. No. So then she was out. she was practicing her routine. This is earlier today. She's practicing her routine, and I look at the dude that's baked, and I go, "Hey, man!" And he goes, "What?" I said, "I think the bitch got all angry at me." And he goes, "Well, why do you say that?" I go, "Look at her," and she was practicing the whole time, looking over at me like this. That look where she's just like she was. And he goes, "No, she's just into it." So I walked on over to her. And she had earbuds in, and she took them out. And she started talking to me, and I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. I can't remember everybody's name, so I give nicknames. So I was calling her Thunderdome, and she says, "Oh no, I love that." And she says, "I'm going to keep that name." I said, "Cool." So I told her, "I'm going to talk about you on my show. I'm going to give you a card at the end. Blah 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 blah." So again, stunningly, and have you? And I'm gonna, if you're listening.
Yeah.
It's very random.
that was, if you're listening, you please get a hold of me because you were stunning. She had, and I'm going to compliment her. I have never seen a woman's body look like you could see her body. Like if I shot a quarter at her, it would bounce off her ass. You know what I mean? Like you could see someone.
So she could basically beat your ass.
Oh my God.
If she comes back to where you're at, she's going to fucking pummel you.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this was the first time I had seen a woman that close. Even though I've been to the muscle shows, I do the muscle shows. This girl had a different build. It was like you could see, almost like you could see the muscles, like she's moving and all the individual because she's so lean. It was just badass to see. So I was like, oh man, I told her, I said,
that's awesome because if you look at me, you don't see muscle, you see like marshmallow.
If you threw a quarter at me, it would swallow up.
It would go in like dough.
In between my moobs, the cottage cheese and everything else, it's the bat wings. I mean, it's just I'm a wreck and it's horrible. Look at this going on, just
if you threw a quarter at Ed, he'd catch it.
Without his hands.
Yeah. That would be in his pocket and like
well, a fat pocket, but yeah.
So then they had, and again, I've never seen a show like this. So the next act they did a magic trick, which was really cool, and I'm not going to divulge how it happens.
Yeah,
but
cool.
They had a magic cabinet, and they put the swords all in it, and then you could see through the box, and then they pulled the swords out and opened the cabinet, and then all of a sudden 2 people came out of it. It was amazing to see. It was a cool trick, really, really cool trick.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got to see that.
Did you try it by yourself?
Did they pull a quarter from your ear? What's that?
Magic.
How'd you do that?
And the weird thing is it was covered in earwax and a couple hairs.
Butterscotch quarter.
And it was like a coin from a foreign nation that nobody's ever seen.
Right. Ooh.
It was a peso or euro.
Fancy.
And a half-eaten burrito.
No, that was from my ass. No, so then they had this other guy, and he had his hair all tight, all right, and they all had weird shaved heads and different. He had his hair real tight like this. Like remember on In Living Color, and there was this one guy that had a tiny little hat, like here.
Men on Films.
Men on Films, tiny little hat, and his hair was like that. And for the show, he let it all. So his head was all shaved except for this little thing, and then it went all the way down to his ass.
Is that what you're going for then? By looks of your hair growing in?
It may take a bit, but yeah, he inspired me. So
This
this guy,
people working out would inspire you, but a haircut inspired you.
Gotta start somewhere.
That's the easy one.
he went up on this tight wire. He was doing tight wire act because he had this
A
whole
high wire act.
but it was very it wasn't high. It was a low wire
Okay.
act.
Was it
Well,
a
still,
wire
though-
or was it one of those straps?
The bouncy straps.
The bouncy straps.
No,
where you
no,
like bounce on it, it flips you up, or was it actual?
actual like
It was
cable.
taut.
It was
Okay.
yeah. He had 2 riggings on the side and this bar in between, and it went the
right.
full width of the stage.
Did just real quick, getting back to Thunderdome. Did you get pictures of her? Maybe.
No, I couldn't get a chance.
No!
I didn't get a chance. But I'm going to try and see if I
And
can
you
get some.
Suck.
I couldn't, dude. It was so everything happened so quick. Like in other
Did they
words,
have like a site you could pull up?
that's what I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to the site.
Get a picture off of that, maybe.
Yes. I'm going to go to the site and then I'm going to pull photos off of it and I'm going to send them a message, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, no, I couldn't because everything was happening so quick. And then I thought it would be kind of creepy to just come up and just her because you could see that I was kind of enamored at how beautiful she was. You know,
Were you
and
like slobbering?
I didn't want it to be, especially since I called her Thunderdome and then I talked to her and everything. I didn't want it to be like the creepy guy going, "Can I get a photo with you?"
No, you definitely don't want to be like the creepy
His
guy.
pants are around his
Little
ankles.
late.
He's peeking around the corner. You can see his belt on his shoes.
Isaac. Did she ask about Isaac? Is she asking about it?
Yeah, I didn't want to be that guy. So
Why
and
any
things
other day?
and things were
I'm
going
like,
real
why
quick
start
too,
now?
dude. And it went quick. And as soon as the show ended,
I mean, it was one thing after another.
one thing after, I mean, we loaded in. They immediately started practicing. They went and got something to eat. Came back, got changed, and the show started happening. It was just everything was. I couldn't get a chance to
How
even
the hell
stop.
could you do that on a full stomach?
They probably eat real light.
I don't
They have
know,
bodies like that.
dude.
Ed picked up the slack though. That's a team player, Ed.
Right?
They didn't
and-
have a rider of food?
No, we had no food. No, none. It was Sunday too. On top of it, so we couldn't even get anything catered in because half the restaurants were closed around us. That's the craziest thing was all the restaurants around us were closed.
Do the restaurants around you open for the summer months?
I
You
don't
think they
You'd
would lose money.
think, yes, you would think that owning a restaurant, you might want to be open to make money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not me.
But then
I'm
again,
not
it might be a staffing issue.
It could be.
If you got 4 employees
Yeah,
and you're working them
everybody's-
6 days, they need a day off.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, anyways, this guy went up on the tight wire, and this was amazing too. He had like a bicycle rim, and he was walking on the bicycle rim on the tight wire. Yes, but it was a curved bicycle rim that would go over the wire that the audience probably couldn't see that part. But it was
Still,
just
though, you need hell of a balance.
these people
Dude,
were
you could literally have a counterweight on it for me, and I would still fall over.
right. Right. This is where. That I don't know. I didn't know if it was part of the act or not. Like they had these Asian guys that were doing. They did this thing with the balls where they throw it down on the ground and
Almost like juggling in reverse.
yeah, it was a weird thing. Yeah, and then he would periodically miss. Like it wouldn't work and it would go out and he'd, "Oh man, I'm really sorry." And then he'd ask for another ball and then they do it again and it maybe miss and then he asked for another ball until finally he's got like 18 balls all going.
Yeah, it's probably part of the act.
I don't know. This part, I don't know, is part of the act. They did this again. When I mean insane, to me, insane at 54.
And were you chasing the balls around like a dog?
He's all sweaty.
No, that they had this chair where the guy sat, one laid down and his legs were up in the air, and the other guy would run on that mat I described earlier. He'd go hop, 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 and he'd hit this mat, launch into the air, and land on the other guy's legs. All right? Like, remember when you were a little kid and your dad would put his feet
like
up?
a handstand type.
You'd with your stomach on his
Oh, so you did like the airplane.
Oh yeah,
airplane and he would hold you. Well, this guy, this is where it gets crazy. Then all of a sudden he went, "Hello," and he started spinning him,
Oh yeah, I've seen
Oh,
that.
I've seen that too.
spinning him, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Hello," and he lands on the guy's feet like this. You know what I mean? Like they feet on feet. you know, and
Yeah.
I thought, how in the hell did they do that? No, this is
Were you
where
trying it with Isaac? Try it again, Isaac.
this is
Then he's
That's
like,
when you-
"Whoop."
that's when you definitely shouldn't have eaten before we did that. Yeah, right. And they did this spinny thing, and the guy fell. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like he kicked him and spun him in the air, and he landed, and he fell, and he goes like, oh, and so he looked at the audience, and he goes, you know, like one more time, and they're like, you know, and we're supposed to clap on the side to, you know, inspire.
I think he was just doing it for hype.
I don't know, you know, because I wasn't
right.
certain if it was for hype because the music kept skipping anytime that they would have a fall or something. You know what I mean? And then, right?
Like it was timed.
I don't know. You can't. I don't. You know. So they eventually did it. It was amazing. He was like this, like the guy was on his back with his legs in the air, and the other guy was planking on his legs. Then he pulled down, flipped him in the air. He spun and then landed like this. It was the most amazing thing to see. That isn't where the chaos began. Where the chaos began is all these little things like that happen. You're like, oh, it's cool. Jumping through hoops. Chick had hula. There was then we had this one girl. I can't remember if it was Thunderdome or the other girl went out and did hula hoops. All right, which you
But like 700 of them.
Yes, did you see that before?
That's pretty cool. And dude, those things got to be heavy as fuck. Like one is like, all right, but when you have like 50 of them, dude, I'd be like, hold up. Unless there's wires on these, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, right.
This is where I can't tell if it was part of the act or not, because what they did was they did this thing where she'd have like 3 hula hoops and she'd, you know, like on her arms. Then she'd have some on her legs, on her legs and her arms, and then they brought this one that the audience thinks it's all like 85 hula hoops, like you're saying, Chuck, but they were kind of together. Like if you ever seen those cards, like when they do the like this. But
are you allowed to
back-
give away their trade secrets?
This isn't a trade secret. This is, you know, because you could see you saw it. You know what I mean? If you didn't see this, then you were watching the show like this. You know what I mean?
I usually do because it's harrowing.
They gave her the hula hoops and she went, and there's 8 like Chucks.
It's like a slinky.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Like Chuck said, there's 85.
Dude, I try to do that and they just wedge on me like a Chinese finger trap.
She was so tiny, and
They
the
would pinch. Ow.
Somebody get the scissors.
She whipped it, and all of a sudden you could see her like if you misstep, you know, it was. Then she was in the middle of this whirlwind, big
whirlwind,
being beat up, and then she came. Then the hoops went down to the floor, and she was facing the back curtain and went. You know, like you know, because
all dizzy.
she was so,
She's new.
She had like a stick across her face like a hula hoop. You know, in the I was like, the poor, she's so tiny, you know. And so they went out in a group and they pulled all the hula hoops off stage. And I thought, oh man, how is this thing going to end? Well, they had one guy that he had a language barrier. All right, because his name was, I'm going to say his name is Fabrizio. All right, he was
sounds Italian.
That's what I was going to ask you. Mm-hmm. But he was from Argentina, but he had an Italian. Now,
he was Argentinian Italian.
Yeah. Right.
From his father's side.
He did have a language barrier.
Twice removed.
They were speaking to him in Argentinian. I don't know.
Spanish?
Well, Spanish is their native language, but the guy.
I'm sure they have like dialects.
Right. Well, right. So because the one guy that was on stage with us, he spoke Spanish, and he goes, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. So he goes, it's this weird, like he understood some of the words, but it was this weird, like you're saying, maybe dialect, maybe.
Yeah, just like like how we have our southern
variations.
accents. Or,
right.
you know, people from the Wisconsin area have their own like
Right.
You could tell they're from the Wisconsin area.
See, that's
or
funny.
Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, it's got
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
khakis.
that's funny you said that, Wayne, because
Bubbles.
I thought about this.
Is it funny?
No.
Are you like a clown funny?
Yeah.
that if you look at languages, like for a foreigner to come to America to learn English or trying, I understand, like you just hit the nail on the head, is if you speak Spanish, most of South America, from Peru to whatever, that's the common core language. That's their English is Spanish. You know what I mean? So you go to Ecuador, wherever, and Spanish is the
Puerto
common
Rico, Mexico.
Yeah, they may have variations of
Spain.
words, but it's the same. But you come to America, like Wayne just said, you go to New Jersey, and you won't understand half of what I don't understand. And I speak English. You go to the Midwest, which is what we speak, the Midwest English.
And then there's also the slang from the area.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, slang. And then if you just go to Kentucky, West Virginia, and you hear a drawl.
Forget about it.
Forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine as a foreigner trying to learn English, let alone they've got.
Kentucky.
Right.
No offense to the Kentuckians, it's just your dialect to us.
Right. And Wayne said, if you go, it's weird if you go towards the Dakotas or what you said, Wisconsin, they almost have that Minnesota.
Canadian.
Is that what that actually is?
Canadian.
It's almost like a Dutch, like
Pennsylvania
Amish.
Dutch.
Yeah.
I love their apple pies.
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian. Good call. Because I think in Minnesota, it's a lot of Scandinavians, aren't they? Finnish or something that are there. Well, so this guy had this, not interpreter, he had whatever he was, because they were speaking Argentinian, and his name was Fabrizio. And we had to turn the lights in this different way because he did
Now,
this.
was he the star of the show? Was he
Yes.
the big man on campus?
He was the big man on campus, and he did this insane juggling act, but with these razor sharp little hoops. You know what I mean? Razor sharp. And he would juggle, and he would throw them, and they'd hit the stage, they'd spin, and then come back at him. You know what I mean? And he would pick them
like
up.
they were on a string, like those. Remember those yo-yo balls back in the day?
Yes.
They looked like a ball, but they had a spring on them, so they would come right back to your hand.
This didn't. This dude, I mean, he was talented. I'm not going to give him this. I'm not going to give him any discredit. He was very talented. He could juggle, and he would do a thing too where he dropped it, and then they'd give him a bunch more, and he was juggling like 13, and he was looking up into the lights.
Did you like? Hit him with
no.
Did you hit him with like a
High beam.
laser light?
For whatever reason, he was doing this thing, and Techman Isaac, the lights went off then on again for a second, and you hear, like
You look over and his arm's missing, bleeding out his neck.
He dropped some because the lights went off. He can't see while he's juggling, and then it came back on, and he got himself buried. But he dropped some. So I'm like, what the hell? Isaac's like, oh, sorry, went to the wrong cue, but I did it when I was juggling.
Isaac, he's up there like, let's see what.
Can you imagine if,
fingers.
yes, imagine if it was a guy like with a chainsaw and the flames and Isaac's up there all.
You said they were razor sharp. What happened to
Razor
that?
sharp, dude.
So
And
luckily, none hit him.
right, but can you imagine Isaac doing it? Fuck these people.
He needs more light. Nobody
Right.
can do an act in that.
So it was insane. But the Fabrizio guy, this is where the chaos really began. Because first that happened, and this dude, you could see that he's like disoriented, like, what the hell just happened to my act? You know what I mean? So then he had the finale. And this is where he got harnessed, and he was doing these, things that I would be terrified to do in a harness at 30 feet up in the air. Like he did, what's that thing, Rengus?
Like
in
any
Cross-
sexual act.
Iron Cross? The Iron Cross, Ed?
Certain personal hygiene. What else?
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to go with brushing and flossing, but that falls in the
Changing the
Yeah.
bed sheets.
Horrifying.
Or then once every 3 months.
What is that? What that's called? The Iron Cross? Where
Iron Cross, yeah.
You
Remember we had to do that in gym in like ninth grade?
Oh.
I think Bob Benson was the only one that could do it.
And Kaiser.
Oh yeah, Kaiser.
Yeah.
Kaiser is strong as
right.
Oh yeah.
For the audience, what he's talking about is you're basically like you're hanging by your arms, and then you pull
By 2
yourself up
rings.
by 2 rings. You
No,
pull
you
yourself
don't pull
up.
yourself up. your rings are at your side, and you
Is that how it
lower
is?
yourself down. I don't know anybody that could be this way. I don't know, and pull them out to their sides. I've always
I
seen
don't know. I watch YouTube videos. I see it all the time.
To me, it starts. It starts
might
at
be able
my.
to do it.
The fucking ring.
If it wasn't for your bum shoulder from
Yeah, if
78.
it wasn't for the shoulder and the 200 extra pounds I carry on a daily basis for no apparent reason.
Right?
Mine would start at my side, and as I got this far, I'd go.
Yank his
elbows-
arm off.
My arms my bones would actually go inside the skin next to each other, like an accordion.
I'd have to blame it on the lighting.
Instead of bending, they just go.
Then they would separate.
They would just be inside the skin.
They come.
Yeah.
They come out.
I would look like. I would look like the dad on King of the Hill who got his shins blown off in the war.
Oh.
My arms would only be like this long.
You'd be all
And I'd be asking
disjointed.
for the lights to be turned down.
I think I jammed my elbows. Can you guys pull on them?
Yeah.
Chuck, you're instead of Wolverine with the claws coming out, your
comb my
arms
hair.
go into your body, and then they come back
Yeah.
out to
They'd be
normal.
collapsible arms. Instead of extending, they collapse.
I look like one of those things in front of the car lot.
Yeah,
Gary.
Yeah.
you're like the misfit mutant, the one instead of having a useful power, like you're
Yeah,
like so
exactly.
your arms go in and then come back
What's
out.
your superpower? My arms.
You guys
retract.
ever watch a Mystery
He makes
Science
people
Theater?
go, ew.
Mystery Science Theater 3000? Tom
Yeah,
Servo?
I love watching that. That and riff
With
tracks.
those little arms, little
Yes.
Tom Servo.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Well, this this guy
Gone over.
was doing that like Iron Cross, all this stuff. But all right, right. So he got real because we had a really packed house. All right. In fact, they're already booked to come next year.
Oh,
and,
right on.
and yeah, and we
We'll
had
be there for that one because I
Yeah.
want to meet Thunderdome.
Oh God, I pray she's gonna be. I'm gonna try and get a hold. I am gonna try and get a hold of her through the site. So
Are you going to take a shower this time?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? Oh yeah. But
Because I mean, you probably turned her off with your bad, your BO. I didn't.
no,
want to say
I
anything.
did.
Hobbit toe sticking out.
No, yeah,
Yeah, he had his sandals on, his toeless sandals.
Is that
She's
caramel?
from Australia, and nothing scares her except Ed's toenail and personal hygiene.
The way
a wolf spider wouldn't scare, but
the
its
one
toe
nail
did.
scraping on the floor as I'm walking near
It's like,
her.
what is that? It
had
says dew claw.
Yeah. It's
So
caramel.
that's how Ed holds onto a brick wall.
No, it's, yeah. I'm clicking when I walk on the tiles. No, it's-
Exactly.
so the Fabrizio dude got really into it because he's like, oh, just like if you're playing and
Yeah,
the crowd.
dude, you feed off the crowd's energy.
You
You
feed off
really
the crowd.
do.
Yeah, the crowd was really into it. They had kids there that were just loving it. And sure as shit, this is another thing too.
Was there any cotton candy?
We have a cotton candy machine. Yeah, we have a cotton
Was it
candy
on
now.
for that?
I didn't. Concessions
That
did
would
really
be
well.
Ball.
It would. It may have.
I need
don't
to
know.
bring the kids to a show next time there's some
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. That was
Let me know.
the ballets, the plays.
I'll
and,
fire that fucking cotton candy
definitely-
machine up myself
Yeah,
Hell
stuff
yeah.
like
for
that.
personal use.
Hell yeah.
And we do. We have a cotton candy for. And I'm concessions did really well. So and sure as shit that the kids were looking at the juggling, looking at all that stuff. So they first thing they did went home and they
And
tried
picked
to
up fucking knives, anything
yeah.
sharp, started juggling it.
Just got in. Take the infant and try to spin him with your feet.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hip. Yeah.
Actually, it'd be more like,
You know that they did.
where's the baby? Look at the ceiling fan, Mom.
You're right. You know that the kids did because when we were kids, we would see something
yeah.
like that too. Like you'd watch a Spider-Man movie. Next thing you know, you're falling out of trees,
Yeah.
breaking your legs. 'cause
Dude, we had nothing else to do in our neighborhood
Right.
anyway. Because I mean, we were literally
right,
me and Rangus was, in the outskirts. I was even further out.
right,
We had
right.
Right.
woods, quarries, and a creek.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Right.
That's my life growing up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude got into it. He was like way into the things we're going. And he goes, now this is what the audience didn't see. When the guy guy or girl would get harnessed to get pulled up, the rigging went all the way through these pulleys back behind our back curtain, and their crew was in this in this rope harness thing, all chained together, pulling to get the person up. All right, and on the backside of the curtain was their operator guiding them, going pull more or pull, let him to go up and down. All right. And then my job is to coordinate to make sure none of the rigging is for our house is going out of haywire. And I had my guy next to me saying, watch them to see if they need help holding the harness. You know what I mean? Because they're tiny little people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're small in stature, you're picking up somebody small in stature, it's not like they were picking up me.
It was multiplied.
And just curious, if you were standing there watching it and something started to go wrong, what would you actually do? Hey, there's something going wrong.
That'd be
like you would correct it.
Open his flip phone and dial 911.
Take a video.
Exactly.
Try to shove that bouncy pad under him. They've landed.
Throw some oil on the floor.
Ed couldn't have woke up fast enough for it to get to the bouncy pad.
Yeah, it's like, I'm really tired, you guys. You're on your own.
I'm crashing for my energy drink. No, so this guy got into it. All right, he's really into it, and he's doing this spinning thing. So he looks at the guy and he goes, he yelled something in Argentinian, whatever.
Pull me up! What is he saying?
And he did this running thing, which they said wasn't part of the act. Like,
Are you serious?
He got really into it.
Oh, he did that thing where they pull him up and he's doing this? Like remember those airplanes, the gas airplanes on the strings?
You've seen that. Yes, that's exactly what they did. And he ran, and instead of doing it. And so when they went, and they pulled, he went up, and he was going up, but he was in a much wider cone than he was supposed to be. So he
was hitting like the curtain.
Do you remember when you were for the audience, there's an amusement park, and I'm sure a lot of the other amusement parks, Cedar Point has these seats that you sit on and it spins you around.
The chains.
And Wayne's naked again.
You're talking about the swings.
The swings.
It's like a carousel, but you're sitting in a chair from a chain.
Four chains.
Yeah.
They're just like going.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is when you're a little kid the first time to be on it, because you end up like going
like you're side saddling it.
Yes,
you're going sideways,
and then it raises up.
And then it raises up,
way up.
And there's times you're not staying in that same position. There's times that you kind of.
Neither are your flip flops when you're 5. They end up in Frontier Town somewhere.
You start rotating. Well, he was rotating up because he wasn't in total control. Because
he was in a free fall.
A free up fall. You know what I mean?
He was like a skydiver in the free fall where they don't have like the control yet.
And they're pulling him up. And while they're pulling him up, I'm looking over at them, and then you hear, boom, and I go, what was that? And one of the straps on the far end released, you know what I mean? Like the ratchet, the ratchet went like this, and he's at the peak 30 feet up, and he goes, and he went down about 10 feet.
But he didn't hit the ground, correct?
No, he didn't hit the ground.
Perfect.
But he went down. He tried to play it off, and in the meantime, I could see their whole crew go, you know what I mean?
They probably weren't dug in. You know what I mean? They weren't ready for that. They had him up, but they're like, all right, we got this.
They had him, and then that sudden jerk, all of them. I mean, they had the big guy that was all baked, and he's not sure where he's at. He's in the rope. They've got the tiny little, there's the contortionist girl, contortionist guy, and they've got the Thunderdome holding them all up, and they all went, and they got pulled forward. And I look and I go, oh no, because he came down. But then when he came down, you could see it. It gave him when he came, because he went down, and then he yelled like, "Get me down!" He said something in Argentinian.
Oh, in Argentinian.
In Argentinian to the guy.
James, stop this crazy thing!
And he came down, and I'm laughing at the tragedy. He laughed out. They brought him down. He landed like he tried, really play. The audience didn't know the difference.
Right.
The audience didn't know the difference.
So everybody behind the scenes is like,
"Oh my God!" Yeah, he landed, and he unfurled, because these things are they're not like,
Yeah, they're wrapped. He was just wrapped his wrists around them.
That's the only thing keeping this crazy son of a bitch in the air.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it where the chicks like wrap themselves up into it and then like roll down.
Yeah.
And they're hanging with their wrists wrapped around it or by one and spinning sideways.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thunderdome did that where, to me, it's beautiful but terrifying because they don't have harnesses. This isn't a harness. This is
it's literally just a long sheet with them wrapped up in it.
Yeah,
It's like a stripper move.
Yeah,
Yes.
without the pole.
Yes. Yeah. Wayne, you got it. Well, this dude came down, and evidently that maneuver, when he came down and unfurled, he had the deepest Indian burn I had ever seen on his arms because he goes, and as soon as he raised up his arm, I could see this Indian burn, and his, he's got all this makeup on and everything.
It's all running.
It's all because he was sweating because he's like,
Oh, I thought because he was crying.
no, and they go, ta-da!
Bueno!
Squeezed one out of him.
I'll say.
But that was so he did, and but it was amazing to see. They are coming back. They're already scheduled to come back, but it was an amazing show to see. I have never in my life seen this kind of acrobatic maneuver up close, and to realize how strong these people are, man. It was just, if you ever get the chance, audience, check it out. It's going to be, I'm sure, at the Palace again, because we already got them scheduled. I don't know what time, but it'll be on their website, et cetera, et cetera. I'll talk about it.
Right on.
So, and I know we've gone over. Wayne's got to get back to his studying. You just took a study break, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Now that we broke all your concentration.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We are over too. We're over. So.
Yeah.
So, audience
Thanks
members,
for letting me in.
Oh,
Thanks for
no
letting
problem.
me in.
Audience members, you've been listening to Late Night with Ed Money here on the website, which is edmoneylive.com, where it's real people have real conversations about life. We're going to be leaving you with Naomi. It's Haunted House. Check that out. You're always listening to myself, Ed Money. Right over here is CPAP Chuck.
We'll see ya.
Almost touch him. I can almost touch him. I like the money. I like the money. Down over here is Rangus, the Bionic Pamper Prepper.
Good evening.
You do got to get more food up. You haven't done. You got to do some food soon.
I just did pulled pork spaghetti this weekend, but I didn't post anything.
Dude, I'm a big fan of that. I was hesitant
That
to
sounds
try it.
good.
That does
I was
sound
hesitant to
good.
try it at first, but I am a fan of that.
Now, does it have barbecue sauce on the pulled pork or just pulled pork?
The pork roast is plain.
What are you laughing about?
I did
Yeah.
12 pounds of pork. I did 4 pounds of spaghetti, and then I mixed it together, light barbecue sauce, and then I let people add more to what
On
they
their own
like.
plate.
So there was
Yeah.
barbecue sauce on it, though.
Yeah,
correct?
there was-
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
used-
like,
My
I've
bad.
never had it without
Right.
grill.
Yeah, because some people will do the pulled pork just plain, and
Right,
put
and
it
let
in
people
there.
add their own sauce.
Yeah.
Right?
But had it
Not
in
me, I'm
regular.
like, you get what I give you. If you don't
I've
like
had
it, you
it
don't eat.
cooked.
Right.
Spaghetti sauce cooked with meatballs and then pork like in it.
Right.
Like chunks shredded.
Oh no!
in it. Like,
I shred
Yeah.
the pulled pork and then add the pasta, but it's too dry to mix without some barbecue.
right.
Light barbecue sauce.
Little need some water in there. And last but not least, always keeping us in balance and check is A1 Continuity. Wayne, who did join us. So thank you again, audience members. Thank you for all the things you do. Check out the stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Always remember that you are somebody, and don't be materialistic because it gets you nowhere. And after that, we are out of here.
But could you love her? A haunted, haunted house. Or could you love me now? A haunted, haunted. I'm a haunted house. A haunted, haunted house. If you're too scared, get out. A haunted, haunted. I'm a haunted house. Broken windows and a warning scribbled on my wall saying that you better turn around. Wouldn't be the first to try to burn me down. Your move, you too. Would you love me at my worst? Till the coffins in the doors try to break me like a curse. You know that will never work. I'm a little bit absurd, dancing on the verge. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion, but could you love her? A haunted, haunted house. Or could you love me now? A haunted, haunted. I'm a haunted house. A haunted, haunted house. If you're too scared, get out. A haunted, haunted. I'm a haunted house. Could you love a haunted, haunted house? Or could you love me now? A haunted, haunted house. I'm a haunted house. Haunted, haunted house. You're just sick inside. A haunted, haunted house. I'm a haunted house. Words till the coffins in the dirt. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion.
You've been listening to Late Night with Ed Money, brought to you by 3 Bowls of Crunch Production. Late Night with Ed Money is a copyrighted show, and any unauthorized reproduction for sale is strictly prohibited without written and or verbal consent from Ed Money. Otherwise, we'll find out where you live and beat the shit out of you. Thank you for listening.